What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is another Gag Skills update. This is part of our No Luck training series and my return to a 600-pound bench. I'm your host, Coach Gaglione, and I've been involved with powerlifting and strength coaching for over 19 years. So this is part of our workout at the Underground Strength Con here at Varsity House in, I think, Orangeburg, New York. I should know this by now. They host a great event for the business of strength, and also with my good friend, Zach Evanesh of the Underground Strength Gym. And you can see I'm kind of wearing one of the old school Underground Strength shirts. Little background here. So I first met Zach around 2009, 2010. I did his certification in 2010. And he was someone I look up to. He was training a lot of wrestlers at the time, and that was kind of my main clientele at the time. But the story that I want to tell you is that if it wasn't for Zach, I wouldn't be speaking with you today. He pushed me. He encouraged me to open up my own company. He encouraged me to believe in myself as a coach. And I was able to unlock something on that particular day, and I haven't looked back. So stay tuned for a bonus episode. It may actually come out before this for a little bit more context. But right after this workout, I received the award for the Business of Strength, Underground Strength Coach of the Year for 2025. So received that award out of over 130 other coaches that were in attendance on this particular day from all over the country. So not just a powerlifting coach, but as a strength coach. And that's something we'll be kind of talking about more at length as we go through some more of our content. So on this particular day, I elected to do a floor press. We didn't have perfect calibrated weights. We didn't have the perfect setup. But work had to be done. So I brought my bench shirt, I brought some of my gear, and I elected to do kind of like a Thompson style workout on this particular day. I noticed that we had chains. I noticed that we had a floor. That's one of the great things about a floor press. And I didn't want to put anyone in danger because they didn't have like safe. I could have went in the power rack and stuff like that. But floor press is it's a very repeatable movement. It's a good builder for me, and it wasn't going to put any of the spotters at risk. So that's why I like to do a floor press, and I will just do I'll do traditional benching at home, full range, those sorts of things. So I figured I did 545 for a single with no spotter, no handoff. So I figured even with, less than ideal situation, running on no sleep, being stressed from travel, stuff of that nature. Katie and Bryn competed at the USAPL Delaware State Championships. I'm not going to talk about that on this particular day, but that was not a fun outing for me personally, although the girls did really well. They performed really well. I was very upset about how some of the male officials were treating my daughter and my wife, but that's a topic for another day. So was not super happy about that. But anyways, you have Ben Karan here. Ben Karan's a former member, G-Team alum, if you will, if you guys are interested. If you've ever been part of the G-Team family, we have our 15-year anniversary party, April 25th, 2026, at the James Room, as well as a Hall of Fame induction at Gaglione Strength HQ in Farmingdale. Ben Karan is a successful trainer in his own right. He's helped spotted me many years ago. When I did my 1,000-pound squat and training, he was one of the side spotters, so it was cool to connect with him and see, check in with what he's doing. So on this particular day, I was able to, I started raw, then I put my bench aid on and just kind of worked up. So I was thinking that I was going to work up to 555 would be like a PR this training cycle. So that was kind of like the first objective, was just going to PR, have some progressive overload, those sorts of things. And my goal was to work up to a heavy double. Since I saw the chains there, which is great, I elected to do Thompson style. So which basically what that means is once you kind of work up to, maybe like an 8 out of 10, like double or triple, then you can continue to add chains until you reach a top weight. In a more traditional sense, it's usually used for squatting, but you can apply the concept really to any lift. It lends itself more to lifts where you could use a more absolute load. So I would say if you're not like a 500-pound if your max is like under 500 pounds, the Thompson style may not be as effective. Just because if you're using 20-pound chains, you're not gonna get as much volume in or much work in. But so I only did 2 sets with chains. Traditionally, a Thompson style workout, you do 5 sets of 2, working up to a top set. And again, usually for squatting. So you have Andrew here from Turnkey Coach, great coach out of the West Coast, and we've only met a few times in person. I believe I met him at the Arnold this past March in person for the first time, but we've corresponded a lot over the years and online, and he's helped me a lot refine our business systems in terms of online coaching, delivering a better product, and it was a little bit of a painful process, but he helped eliminate much of that pain the best he could. And he's definitely becoming more and more of a good friend. And even though we have come from definitely very, very different backgrounds in terms of our program approach, we appreciate all forms of strength. We appreciate getting stronger. And, we're kind of working toward the same thing. So it was really awesome to have him here. And then this will probably be a separate video, but when we had a little curling session after with Andrew and then Nikki from Turnkey Coach. So, but here I was just kind of showing him, teaching him a little bit more about the bench shirt. He was helping me with the handoff, and it was great to have him there. He was a good example of that. He's always as good of a coach as he is. You could tell he's open to learn and he wants to learn, and he's curious and always asking questions. He's always trying to improve his own coaching and always trying to improve, the product with Turnkey Coach and kind of what they're delivering, as well as the services and as application. So highly recommend Turnkey Coach if you're looking for some sort of software to monitor client performance, programming, and all those sorts of things. And ultimately, it's a coaching platform. It's not just about delivering a program. It's about communicating with your athletes and actually coaching them. So here's 5:45. I tried to put an insert in, and it was a little bit too much, so I elected to, I think I had one too many bench bagels before this session, so I elected to get out of the insert and just kind of stay in the shirt. So sometimes it happens. I want to kind of keep that in. Sometimes if you're adjusting the shirt or jacking the shirt, if it doesn't feel right, don't take the set. So if you're new to equipped lifting, that's important. If something doesn't feel sketchy, it's probably going to be sketchy. So unless it's like a meet situation and you're on the clock and you have to take the event, and even then, sometimes it's better to pass on the attempt. So I wanted to kind of show this in real time because this was a little bit of a hiccup, and sometimes that can kind of get in your head. But if you make a mistake or something goes wrong, I always say you want to think like a quarterback. If a quarterback gets sacked, you got to have short-term memory, and you got to focus on the next play. So I could have let this get in my head. I'm wasting these guys' time. I messed up. I'm stupid. I shouldn't make mistakes like this. It doesn't matter. It didn't feel right. I took the insert out, and then I elected to. So I'm going to try to do the insert when I have people there that have more experience. I don't want to put the spotters in a compromised situation because they didn't really have kind of have that kind of knowledge and those sorts of things. So you can kind of see here now I'm kind of getting ready to redo the set, and you can see it kind of ends up going really smooth. It was kind of hard. I will say when you're in a floor press in a tight shirt, it is kind of hard to tell like when you're kind of like at the stopping point. But again, for me, it's more about acclimating to the weight at this point, and then I'll work on the range. I know I could touch 585. So, and then, we'll kind of see. I might open with something in the high 500s. I might even open with a PR. My PR in the 275 weight class is 595, so anything over that would be a PR. And if I could hit an all-time PR, great. My all-time PR is in the 308 weight class with a 635. So I definitely am in a good position to, and you can kind of see that this is very light work with 555. So that was a training cycle PR, if you will, which was great. So that felt really good. And then I elected to add one chain per side. And then I did another set as well. So one of the things, we're communicating like how to do the 3-man lift. That's something we haven't really talked about, but essentially the 3-man lift, the side spotters need to be in sync. They need to be in tandem. So a lot of times I'll have them lock eyes. A lot of time I'll have them be coordinated. The center man is really just making sure that the lift is coming out steady. The center man is making sure that it gets released at the correct point. So some of the things that I'm looking for is that your wrist, elbow, and shoulder joint are in alignment. That's gonna, when you have that joint stacking, that's gonna be your strongest mechanical position, because essentially there's zero moment arm. If the bar is slightly behind you, if the bar is slightly behind the shoulder joint, or if the bar is slightly in front of the shoulder joint, now you're under tension. Now there's a moment there. So that's a physics term. So you're gonna be kind of wasting energy and potentially putting yourself in a compromised situation. So you can't really see the chain is on, but essentially this is 5. This would essentially, the total system weight would match my competition PR. Let's see how this looks. I'm spreading the material, getting a good pause, and then exploding through. And again, right now I'm not really too concerned with the depth or range of motion. I'm gonna work on that next week at the time of this recording. So you can kind of see here, I moved the camera so you can see. So this is kind of the chain set up. So depending on if you're doing a Thompson style, or you're kind of adding chains after the fact, or if you're doing chains from the get-go, you could put chains inside the plates. You could put chains outside the plates for floor press. But this is a pretty good way to set up. You'll kind of see, because I'm in this shirt, because it was a hard time for me feeling where the stopping point was. But the main thing I wanted to do is, again, overload the lockout. I wanted to get good control and just kind of see like where my top end strength was at. So this is 555 and 80 pounds of chains, which is about 635 pounds at the lockout. Not all the chains get deloaded in the floor press, so I was very happy with the control on this. I elected to be a little bit more conservative, again, because a lot of my training partners are not familiar with powerlifting gear. We also had one of our new interns, Andrew, his name is Andrew as well, help out, which was great. And then Coach Hannah as well was in attendance here. So this is a top single, 555 pounds with 80 pounds of chain. So you can kind of see here, Andrew's helped setting my arm out. I don't really need help with a 2-ply shirt, but it's just good to get in the habit of having a training partner to do that for you. Because when you're in 3-ply or more, you definitely need to, or 2-ply or more, I should say. So good pause, torched, easy, smoked. So I elected to stop there. I was pretty fired up about that. So pretty exciting stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this helped you, please share it, and I'll talk to you soon.